This is Nadhim Zahawi. I've already done one video on him this week and I had to come back because he is just spouting some complete drivel about education and yet he's in charge. So I thought I'd develop a lesson for him, pun intended. This is a Sophy Ridge show and she pretty much hands it to him, although it seems like he really just scuppers himself. So we're going to have a listen to that and you're going to have a listen to him compare the private education sector to the government-run education sector.
So do you think there's a risk that the system is being tilted away from private school pupils?
So let me explain that.
Yeah.
What is merit? If there are two students, one has gone to my brilliant state schools and they're getting better every day, and one has gone to an independent school and they get the same set of results at A-levels, then actually the university should take the boy from the state school. Why? Because he's had greater challenges to overcome to get the same results.
Wow, already just so much to unpack here. First of all, he's instantly prejudicing people for going to state school because they must be worse off if they go to state school. That's why they need a hand. Second of all, by saying this, he really is actually insinuating that the state school isn't up to scratch with the private sector. So I'm going to slightly eat my own words here. There is evidence to show that the state sector is now behind the private sector. And that's because the government, since 2010 under the Tories, decided to reduce funding in schools. So for almost an entire generation, children haven't been getting the same level of funding as they were in the past. More on this a little later.
What I don't think you do, you don't level up by dragging people down.
No, you level up by raising people up. And how do you do that? You fund it correctly for a start.
What Eton is planning to do with the Star Academies, where they're going to build 3 sixth form colleges in places like Oldham, in West Midlands, in the areas that need that investment in education.
Why is it that they always reference Eton? And let's face it, Eton has produced some of the most ridiculously awful, corrupt, incompetent people that have existed in British politics. If you're proud to be a potted plant and not a stuck-up little weed, press that like button. Also like to say a big thank you to my YouTube and Patreon supporters. You help keep this channel growing and going, and we luckily just reached 5,000 subscribers, so please click that like button and subscribe button.
I want to bring everybody together, right? You don't succeed by delivering a great outcome for every child by actually attacking a part of the system.
So he wants to bring everyone together by creating a two-class system within education. Is anyone following this? I mean, literally, like, it's an embarrassment. Let's have a listen to what they do in Finland. And the reason we're going to listen to Finland and what they do in their education system is because it's one of the best in the world.
You must get more money than other schools.
No, we don't.
In Finland, schools are not allowed to raise private funds or to charge fees from parents. All schools are equitably funded from taxation.
And in our system, everything is free for the students, actually. We don't collect any money from the parents.
We want our schools to be equal and have the equal opportunities to arrange the education.
And Zahawi wants a two-tier system. Independent schools at the top, everyone else at the bottom, and then on top of that, he wants those rich schools to do trickle-down education to help out where the government can't. The whole system is up the creek. There are usually 3 things that you're guaranteed to do to improve someone's education and learning and ability. That is, small classroom sizes of about 18, good food, and exercise, all proven to improve intelligence and learning. Unfortunately in the UK, the average primary class size is 26.6, that was in 2021. The average secondary class size has increased from 22 to 22.3. The stats have come from the government's own website. Considering we have a cost of living crisis, you'd think that the government would offer free school meals. That would also help out parents and families, reducing costs, but also making sure that our students have healthy, nutritious food that keeps them going inside the classroom, with exercise being able to help and support those kids grow, learn, interact, socialise with each other. And look, in Finland, 20 in primary education, 19 in secondary. And Zahawi's great plan? Get the private sector to do trickle-down education. Fantastic stuff. We're waiting for handouts from rich people again.
I don't want to attack independent schools. They do a great job. They're joining us on this journey.
Call me a bit cynical here, but I would assume that the real reason he doesn't want to have anything shut down with the independent schools is because they bring in or save 3.5 billion a year, or at least according to full fact. Now, just cast your mind back a little bit earlier to what he said.
Then actually the university should take the boy from the state school. Why? Because he's had greater challenges to overcome to get the same results.
Now have a listen to what Sophie Ridge has to say on this, and you're going to have a moment.
Because so many private school pupils go to the top universities, that isn't on merit. And actually the landmark report, the 2014 report, analysing 132,000 students over 3 years, saying that state schools with the same results much more likely to gain a 2-1 or a first degree. So a boy who gets BBB at state school was just as likely to get a 2-1 or a first as a private school boy with ABB. So tilting the system, some would say, actually that is fair.
Now witness the response, because it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's like computer meltdown.
No, I tell you what's fair, is I have to hold myself and my team and the front line to say, we can do as well.
It's nothing to do with your team. It's to do with the schools and the disadvantages between state and private sector, and that actually a lower graded state school student will do better than a privately educated student. Why is he referring to himself?
Right, I've already seen it, I've evidenced it in my white paper. There are great families of schools in high-performing multi-academy trusts.
Again, the statement was, some would say tilting the system, that is fair. What is he talking about? Sophie stated that if you got lower grades at A level than a privately educated student, you would still perform equal to, if not better than that student when you're at university. That means the private education system isn't as good as it's made out to be, and that actually you should be favouring state school students with even lower grades, but he doesn't want to know. He's like, no, can't attack the private school system. It's perfect. And then here comes the burn, because this always happens. They always talk about how great the state sector is, but they always end up sending their kids to private school.
You still sent your children to private school, though?
Would you like some aloe vera? You just got burned.
I hear that was a parental decision. I have to make that with my wife. I don't make that on my own. Look at the brilliant Phil Harris and what he's done with Harris Academies, right?
So I went and looked up the Neil Harris Academies, and wow, I mean, 3.1 in Peckham Park 3.8. I mean, if you scroll down far enough, you'll even see one that says 2.6 for ratings. I think there was one that was a 5. I mean, wow, and that's what he's claiming is so great. He doesn't know what he's talking about, does he? It'll be interesting to see what the actual comments were with some of those people. I assume it's a lot of pupils who aren't very happy with the school. Thanks and bye for now.